Hey guys, doing another What's Next. This is on IBF Super Featherweight Champion Joseph Diaz Jr. of the United States. Diaz last fought in, January, right at the end of January. He fought in, actually it was the co-main event of the, he was a co-feature on a DAZN card, and he got his career best win and captured his first world title with a hard-fought, close 12-round unanimous decision over Tevin Farmer, also of the United States. This was a big win for him. You know, he really outworked Farmer in this one. Farmer cited a hand injury, and that's why he wasn't as effective. Farmer came in as a favorite, so this was viewed as a pretty sizable upset, even though I keep saying I didn't think it was that big of an upset. I thought it was a pretty even fight, and I even felt that if anybody should be the favorite, it should be Diaz, because he had the better track record of opposition, a better resume. But Farmer had dominated a bunch of lower level opponents, and that's I guess that's what drew people to thinking Farmer was the favorite. But be that as it may, Diaz got a big time win and captured his first world title. And now the big question is, what's next for Joseph Diaz? Well, before we run through the top 10, we pretty much know what's next for Joseph Diaz. He has a mandatory rematch with Tevin Farmer. But that is not 100% locked in, because Farmer said he wants Diaz again in their rematch. It's in the contract. So Diaz said, well, he had suffered a cut in the fight, and that it would probably take at least 6 months to get the rematch going, which, that's normal, no big deal. But then the IBF reinstated their mandatory number one contender, the undefeated Shavkat Rakhimov. They reinstated him as the mandatory. So I'm trying to figure out, what does that mean? Does that mean Farmer's going to get his contractual rematch, or is Shavkat Rakhimov going to be getting the title shot next? So let's run through the top 10 and we'll figure it out. We start with number one. Well, you know what? I take that back. Here's what I think is going to go down. I think he's going to face Farmer next, because that was due before the mandatory. I think he'll face Farmer, and then I think he'll have to face Rakhimov after that. So that's going to cover at least the rest of this year, possibly early first half of next year. So we're talking now who he could be fighting if he's victorious in all this, which I think he's got a decent chance, of beating both those guys. I think he's got a pretty solid chance. I could see either guy beating him, and I could see him beating both guys. So those are good matchups right there. So if he comes out and heads into the second half of next year, or the middle of next year, as the IBF champion after beating Tevin Farmer and Shavkat Rakhimov, let's see what's next after that. What possibly could be next. Start with number one, Miguel Berchelt. If Miguel Berchelt hasn't gotten into a bigger fight, I guess Top Rank and Golden Boy could possibly look at each other, but I don't think they will. I really think Top Rank with Bob Arum have a lot better options for not better options, but just as big a names, and they have a lot of options fighting in-house with Top Rank. So I really think Bob Arum would rather just throw his guy in against Top Rank guys, and that's what I think is going to go down. So I don't believe this one's possible. Diaz is number two. Number three is Leo Santa Cruz. I absolutely don't think Richard Schaefer, who pretty much is the manager, he co-promotes Santa Cruz and the PBC, are going to work with Golden Boy to get this fight made. So not seeing this one. Number four would be I'm drawing a blank. Oscar Valdez. He's another Top Rank guy. I see the same thing as Miguel Berchelt. Just not enough push to make the fight, and Bob Arum has plenty of options with Top Rank. So I'm not seeing this one. Number five is Rene Alvarado. Well, if Rene Alvarado is still the WBA champion by that point, then yes, I absolutely believe this fight is probably going to happen, because Alvarado is with Golden Boy as well. So I definitely think this fight has some serious legs to it, because Alvarado is with Golden Boy, and if he just bangs around and makes a couple, one or two mandatories, and is still the champion when the smoke clears, then yeah, these two guys have a very good chance of fighting each other. Number six is Mickey Roman, a guy that if Diaz can't get a fight and he's willing to work with Golden Boy, which I don't see what the problem would be, then yeah, I absolutely think these guys could get together. It makes a lot of sense. Number seven is Jamel Herring, the WBO champion. if he's still WBO champion heading into next year, I honestly don't see it, just because, again, this is Golden Boy working with Top Rank, and I think Herring will have other options, and it's kind of a bad matchup in my opinion for Diaz, so I don't see this one. Number 8 is a possible, by that point, a possible third fight with Tevin Farmer. You know, I mean, if we're going off of if Diaz were to beat Farmer again and then beat Rakimov, would he want to roll the dice and face Farmer after beating him twice a third time? Not seeing it. So, but on the flip side of that, if their second fight is close and Farmer beats Diaz and regains the belt and then beats Rakimov, could he face Diaz? Absolutely. I think him and Diaz definitely could fight each other at that point. So, you know, that is possible next year, a third fight between those two. And then number 9 is Andrew Cancio, Top Rank, and now with Cancio and Golden Boy having bad blood due to Cancio being fired by Golden Boy out of his contract due to him talking trash about Golden Boy. Yeah, Oscar and them are going to get together to make a fight with Cancio if available next year. And then finally at number 10 is Jono Carroll of Matchroom. Definitely a possibility because he is a Matchroom fighter. He's, you know, if Carroll is still riding tall and has not become a you know, gotten a bigger fight by next year, then yeah, I definitely could see him and Diaz getting together for a world title fight, or yeah, for a title fight, because, you know, they're both with DAZN. They might not both be with Matchroom. One's with Matchroom, one's with Golden Boy, but it'd be a good fight for DAZN to keep fights on DAZN. And you never know, Carroll might be able to move in and become the IBS mandatory #1 contender at that point, and the fight might make sense. So definitely a possibility. Now, if the smoke clears and Diaz is still world champion by next year, what do I think he's going to want to do next? I really think he's gonna want to face Rene Alvarado if Alvarado is still the WBA champion, which he could be. So I think that's the likely choice. But other than that, it's kind of, you never know, because there are a lot of things could play out. Guys could move up in weight. You never know what could go down by next year. And these two fights are not easy ones. The rematch with Farmer and Shavkat Rakimov is a full load. It is not going to be an easy next two fights for Joseph Diaz. So hopefully we hear about the rematch with Farmer soon and when that could take place. And that's the what's next on Joseph Diaz, my number 2 super featherweight in the world right now at 130 pounds. All right, guys, True Boxing. You've been hit with the truth.